Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am the Drunken Goth, and in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the servicing procedures for a lot of the different Ferrari models. So the first thing I would always emphasise is the importance of regular servicing, and that is usually in the form of the annual service. It is essential for making sure your car is in good health. Obviously the stamp in the service book is worth its weight in gold as soon as you come to resell the car, and it just makes sure that something that should be of very high value to you is kept in extremely good condition. Now, the things that are checked and changed on your annual service are listed in your handbook for each specific model, but it is always important to check on your invoice from your dealer or specialist that everything has been done that is in the service book. And it usually consists of engine oil filter, bleeding of the brakes, always very important, because I've seen a lot of cars that have just been left when it comes to brake bleeding. Check of all the different suspension parts and a road test. Ferrari book time for an annual is 4 hours, so it should be able to be done while you wait by a good specialist or dealer, and that should also give you an idea of whether or not you're being over or undercharged on the labour. So obviously the annual service needs doing every year, and it shouldn't cost you that much, relatively speaking. I would usually charge around £400, and of course it is pretty essential. You do have to get it done every year. It does help with the resale value and just keeps the history of the car where it should be. We then move on to the big service, and that is for most models the cam belt service. It is usually done roughly every 3 to 5 years, or depending on mileage, but if I'm honest, none of the cars ever really do the mileage. The time always comes up first, and depending on what model you buy, it can either be quite a big expense or not too much. For models such as the 456, the 550, 360, 308, 328, the cam belts can all be done with the engine in the car. So again, as I say, it's not too much of an expense, but I would always recommend, while ever the cam belts are being done, check the bearings, check the cam oil seals, make sure your specialist or dealer has done everything like that, as with the amount of strip down it takes to get to the belts, it's always worth doing it while you're there. It will save you in the long term. Ferrari book time is 6 hours for this service, so that should give you a good indication of whether or not you're being over or undercharged for the labour. So next we have the one that can be quite a large expense, and that is the engine out cam belt service for those models that require the engine taking out. Now, some places will tell you they can do it with the engine in. This is the wrong way to do it. It is not the approved Ferrari method. It is not what Ferrari dealers are taught, and it really shouldn't be done, as you don't gain enough access to enough of the parts to fully check things over. Now, the way people have done this, or I have seen it done in the past, is people usually remove the fuel tanks to get to where the cam belts are, but again, it's the wrong way to do it. The right way is to take the entire engine out, and for those models it is usually the Mondial T, the Ferrari Testarossa, Ferrari Boxers, the 355, the 348, a lot of those models it is all engine out to do the cam belts. Now, book time is about 12 hours, so it is not something that you're really going to be waiting around for while a dealer does it. However, a good mechanic can do it in less. I've done it in less myself. But the only other thing I'm going to recommend is that if it is time for your cam belt service, your engine out cam belt service, make a list of anything else that you want doing while the engine's out. It is so much easier to get around to do cam cover repainting or anything like that that you need doing or want doing while the engine's out. It will save you having a lot of the labour added on that a lot of mechanics will, just for how difficult it is to access some of the parts when the engine is still in the car. So the final thing to say really on servicing is, should you go for a specialist or should you go for a main dealer? Obviously a specialist is likely going to be cheaper, but when it comes to the modern stuff, I would stick to main dealer, as they have been through the training courses, they knew the cars from when they were new, so they are probably going to be your best bet. And of course a main dealer stamp on some of the newer models is still definitely worth having in the service book. However, when it comes to the older models, I would definitely go for a specialist, as the old boys that are now running specialists are usually from the main dealers, but again, they will have known the cars from when they were new, so they will have a better idea of all the quirks and everything that you need to look for on some of the older models. Well, that is it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like on it, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye bye.